Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today I'm taking a look at, from the Transformers Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures line, this is Ultra Class Ramjet. Ramjet is a fairly new figure and character that we've actually gotten like a scout class of before. This figure does feature the Energon armor, which has been on Ultra Class figures in the last couple of years. A couple issues with the figure here and there, but I will point those out. Jet mode is what you basically see. It, is Ramjet. A little bit of the variation on the classic color scheme with a little bit of the G2 thrown in. In fact, I would say this is a amalgamated colors palette of all three cone heads. This is what they have on top. Here's the bottom, basically the robot folded up. If you've transformed the Seekers in the Cyberverse line, you're going to kind of recognize some points to the transformation, but that's about it for the vehicle mode. There's no gimmick or anything, and it's a little swooshable jet. So let's pause and get into the transformation. Okay, so to start the transformation, what you're going to do is come in the bottom here and pop off the null ray blasters. Nice little, very classic looking little hollow there, but that is Cyberverse. And then the next step you want to do is fold down these tail wings, fold up the wings in general, and then they peg into the arm, so when you fold them up, that releases the arm. Let's come over to the right arm, which is, since you're watching this, is the left, and we're going to rotate that up and around. That will tab into place, and then you're going to rotate it down on the ball joint. You have a ball joint here in the elbow. Now for this arm, you're actually going to bring it up and around like you're swinging out on a hinge. It's a double rotation there, and that's important to do. And this one, you'll notice in the armpit, there's a bit of a tooth joint there that you want to make sure that lines up. That's going to trigger the Energon armor. Now, coming in underside here, the legs are sort of pegged into the back, so you want to bring them down a little, and then they just sandwich together, so we'll just separate them like so. There's a little bend to the knee, so if you want to use that to help straighten the figure up, then what you'll do is come to the nose cone, fold that back, fold the tip up. Now the tip comes flat in the packaging, and you're going to fold this all around the back just like so. That'll peg in. Let's add the null rays. They do peg into the shoulders, just like so. And there's that. So you have Ramjet in its robot mode. Very nice. You do have knee joints here. Little limited due to the nature of the transformation, but if you move them out, you can get some movement here and there, and the knees do peg into place, so there is that. As I mentioned, there is the Energon armor gimmick, so what you want to do is grab a hold of Ramjet here by the lower legs, take this arm, rotate it forward on the shoulder. That will open up this back section, release the catch here. That'll bring his Energon armor down and around. Very bird-like. Some people have said this is based on a Predacon, maybe Dive Bomb. Little issue on mine is, if you notice, the spring was a little loose, and it doesn't want to sit flush over the robot head. Usually there's some way to like tab this in that it'll stay down, and that's missing on this. To reset, open up the back section, flip the whole thing back and around. Using your thumb or a finger, push until it snaps into place in that little cavity. Make sure that little tail piece is folded up underneath, and then it's flat, and that'll close back up. Now there is one other weapon gimmick here on Ramjet. I'm going to come around the back here to the legs and remove the extra thrusters. Now one is completely hollow on the other side. The other one has a little bar that flips out. What you're going to do is thread this one through all the way. Either hand will do. And then you'll just peg the other end in. And you have a little bit of a baton. So you do have... Oh, and if you want to just move this arm without triggering the armor, just hold it in place. But there you go. And you know, if it starts to open up, you might have to reset it. But yep, got a little bit of a double weapon gimmick there. Let's come in and have a close-up look at the head. Very close to the animation design. So to go ahead and get back into vehicle mode, separate this weapon here. Just make sure this is pegged in. And then grab the little weapon parts. You fold this back up. Peg it back into place. Just like so. And that will just peg on. Just like that. Start the transformation, bring up the nose cone, unpeg it from the back, flip out the tip, bring it up over the head. We'll just friction into place. Make sure you straighten out the legs all the way, that the knees peg into the back of the kneecaps. Then you'll sandwich the legs together. Make sure they're nice and tight. And the trickiest part, I would say, is getting these pegged in into that section in the back, but should work, you know, should work fairly well. Just like so. Next, what you want to do is bring the arms down. Again, remember, separate this one. It's a double rotation. You want to make sure that the fists are facing forward. Go ahead and remove the null rays at the same time. This one just comes out and swings down. And then you'll fold the wings down. Tab there. Slot in the back of the forearm. That will just come up like that. Same thing on this side. There we go. Make sure everything's all lined up. Flip up the tail fins. And there we go. And then finally, into these little VTOL thrusters, peg the null rays in. So, a lot going on with this figure. Kind of dig it. Transformation is, of course, simple, but you do have a little something more going on. Very stylized jet. So, we'll pause, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. So yeah, I kind of dig Ramjet. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, because it is a very simplified figure, but I appreciate the fact that if you break it down, we're getting the null rays and that extra Tonfa weapon. So this figure's kind of coming fairly loaded, a lot more than, say, the average Ultra Class figure. Minor quibbles with the Energon armor and how it springs out, but again, that could be mine. It could also be because of how the figure is shipped in the packaging. He's like leaning forward on the back. I mean, just looking, there's a little bit of scuffage on the cardboard where the nose cone would be. So if you see this figure in the stores and you want to pick it up, you might want to like keep an eye out to make sure there's not a lot of paint scuffing and stuff like that. But overall, don't know how many more of these ultra class figures we have, and I think this is one of the strongest ones we've gotten. And that's saying a lot because we've had some pretty cool ones like Clobber. So definitely, if the line is ending, then it's ending in a good direction. I am curious to see if he's going to be featured in the upcoming Dinobots Unite movies. Because again, this is the Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures, but it is also the Dinobots Unite subline. So definitely, I feel it's worth a pickup. And if you're looking to give it as a gift, younger fan in your life, I think they're definitely going to enjoy it. So that's it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I will always appreciate the views, the likes, comments, and subscriptions help to communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel is one that should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, please consider signing up for my Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. Little card here in the corner, hyperlink in the description below. All I ask for is $1 a month or $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like Ramjet to you, as well as keeping up the general infrastructure of this channel. But as I always say, if you can't do the $1 a month or $12 a year, I more than understand. Your views are thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae that is the money made off of the YouTube views. So that's it. This is your old pal Chuck for Ramjet. We will see you next time.